Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back here to my channel where I play Planet Zoo. But that is not what I'm gonna do today. And my name is Nisse, if you don't know me. Hey, welcome. I'm sorry this is your first video. Before we start, I will just mention my videos are not listed as for kids. However, I do believe that young people and every kind of people in the world can learn a lot for some of my videos. So therefore, I will talk about animals. I will talk about reproductive nature and animals. I will talk about death of animals, and today we will also talk a little bit of war. But I believe it is important to talk about. I believe it is educational. So therefore, if you are a younger person, also if you are adult but just need someone to watch this with, I understand, and that's okay. And I recommend if you are a more in your feeling person, it is okay if you need to see this with someone, and it's also okay if you need to not see this. Anyway, let's get started. Sorry, I have been confused about how to do this. I'm gonna talk to you about some lions that were saved from the war between the Ukrainians and the Russian people. However, I will try not to focus too much on the war and more the travels between these lions or the travel they've been on. I do not usually make these videos, so I am a little confused, and I hope I can manage. There's also some information that I got from radio programs or television programs, but I can't actually share the footage with you or the links because I can't find it anymore, which I would really like to do. So I have a few things. I have emails from Knuthenborg Safaripark. I will mention who they are later, but they have been telling the stories to everyone who subscribed to their email chain. And luckily my mom was on that, so she have sent me everything. I also have Knuthenborg Safaripark's YouTube channel here. It will be linked in the description, so if you want to see. However, everything is on Danish. However, most of it doesn't have sound. It's just pictures of the beautiful animals, and then it has subtitles on Danish. But if you just want to see the animals, they are beautiful and you can see them really clearly in all of their videos. So if you want that, of course, link is in this description. I also will link all of the individual footage that I got, or the videos that I show here. Then I also have some from TV2 East, which is a local TV from the region I live in, that have covered a very small part about it, but I couldn't find the full video, but I have a short cut out from that video, which we also will go into. However, these lionesses started in Ukraine. They are born in Ukraine. They haven't all been living together before the war, though. Two of them, Ploy and Simba, just mentioning that they are all females. All of them are females. Okay, I will show you some of this footage while I try to translate and tell you a little more about who these lions are. So, two of them, Simba and Ploy, came from the Feldman Eco Park Zoo in Kharkiv, the Kharkiv region, which is in Ukraine but close to the border to Russia. So, of course, the zoo have been teared apart basically by the war. Therefore, both Ploy and Simba, of course, needed a new home. As you can see here, we have 3 lionesses and not only 2. That's because the third one, Vee, didn't come from the same place, but was also evacuated. Ploy lived in a private home, which both bred and kept bigger carnivores such as lions, and that's where she's from. You can actually see here, this is Ploy and Simba we have here in the front. And I think Vee is somewhere in the background. I'm not sure here. Vee came from a private home, and she was therefore not registered, and it was hard to actually find her in the beginning. She also have another world to live in, basically, and another kind of cage. Keep this in mind. But they were all three of them evacuated. I will just mention that it is illegal for private people in Ukraine now to hold lions, but it wasn't before the war. So it was something fairly new. But the footage you see here is actually starting in Poland and not in Ukraine. And that's because we didn't in Denmark have contact to them in Ukraine. It is a Polish zoo that went to Ukraine to get these lionesses out, and they did that under the banners of the European Alliance of Rescue Sentries and Sanctuaries, and that's actually how Animal Protection in Denmark came in touch with them. So there they were evacuated last summer from Ukraine to Poland, which isn't only lions or something like that. It's a lot of different animal. However, these animals do need homes, and Animal Protection in Denmark went in and tried to negotiate. How can we try to help them? Can we find a place for them in Denmark, or can we not? It is so that in Denmark we actually have a beautiful animal park on Lolland called Knuthenborg Safaripark. It is one of my very favorite. For instance, why you can see here, this is not only the keeper driving into the habitat, but you can do that as a person. When I was young, you can also do that with the tigers. You can't do that anymore. Now there's a patch so you can go and look down on them into their habitat. But most of the habitat are these big, a giant savanna with all of the savanna animal, and you can drive in, and it's beautiful, gorgeous, and a unique feeling to have. They also have Europe's biggest tiger habitat, and that's more specifically why they could take these lions. They haven't have lions permanently ever in Knuthenborg Safaripark, but these three will be the first that are allowed to stay there. However, once again, have a few issues because they don't have a lion habitat. However, they have, again, Europe's biggest tiger habitat, which is not one habitat, but it's a giant enclosures with multiple habitats. And one of these habitats were free. So these lions can live there next to the tigers again. They eat fairly the same food, and they are able to live there in peace. More specifically, a lot of these tigers are retired circus animals or tigers from private homes, tigers that didn't have a good life. These are not bred on, these are not a part of some big scheme to have animals in captivity in the future. They are just here to live out their natural life in peace and quiet. And you can see that both as a guest, but also for the animal sides. And this is really what these lions deserve. They have been scared, they have been afraid, and they have been through so goddamn much. So therefore, of course, we can give them the opportunity in this specific place to make sure they do not need a male lion. They do not need a big pride. They do not need a lot of noise to scare them or anything like that. They can just stay here. So therefore, right before Christmas, sorry, this video we just saw before was made. Driving to Poland, this was both Animal Protection here in Denmark, but also, sorry, I went too fast here. Here, Posan Zoo is the zoo is in Poland that took the lions when they came out of Ukraine, and then just before Christmas, meaning they have been there for half a year at this point. Keepers from Knuthenborg Safaripark, animal protection, zoologist, I think some more people, a vet, they had their own vet, driving down there to take a look at the beautiful lionesses, and of course, bring them back home. Again, we're talking about Ploy, Simba and Vee. Here you can see they were completely tranquilized and then carried out to these beautiful boxes, or beautiful. They're gonna sleep most of the way there, so it doesn't really matter. The important part here is to get them back to Denmark and safe. Here you can actually see backstage where the lions lives in Knuthenborg Safaripark here in Denmark. I do believe that they have some quarantine to do. Again, the lions had been together in Poland, but the tigers don't like their germs if they have any of that. So they need to be in quarantine first, and then they will be in the same house with the tigers, not the same habitat, and then they will share these giant tiger habitat that have multiple enclosures. Again, they will not live with the tigers, but just next to the tigers. I will just state, of course, now I can't really find the exact mail which one stated it, but it have been stated that they need to bring out at least 200 more big carnivores from Ukraine before we actually have saved and all of them. But again, we don't know where all of them is because some of them are unregistered. But these are not only big cats. It is, for instance, big cats, lions, tigers, cheetahs, so on. But we also have other animals, bears, and everything, basically. Not only carnivores, but the carnivores are the most important part because they can kill so many animals and hurt so many people, kids, other animals on their way when they get out of their enclosure, or they can sit and starve in an enclosure they can't get out of. So this is very, very, very important. Okay, this is the clip from TV2 East. Again, the local television in my region. However, it is a big part. Again, Denmark is a small country, and so we don't have a lot of regions, but we have some. This is Anne-Sophie Melvang, who is a biologist for animal protection here in Denmark, going out. And she was actually one of the first people I saw talking about this. She talked about it in Good Morning or Good Evening Denmark. I'm not sure which one. And also here in TV2 East. Again, she's from animal protection. She's not from Knuthenborg Safaripark. So what she says and they said is not completely the same. However, I could not find a clip from Good Morning or Good Evening Denmark, so I'm sorry about that. But she states here how they've been hurt, how they've been terrified. Bombs were falling all around them. And they lived in these smaller cages individually. In these smaller individual cages in Ukraine, they didn't get food or water for multiple weeks because the keepers either died or escaped to other places to be safe. Again, you cannot save anyone and you cannot just let them out because then they will hurt other people, other animals. And again, this is a dark circle. But here in Denmark, they get this bigger enclosure than they have ever seen. Again, this was only intended to be one tiger enclosure. However, I have not seen any information on whether they tried to expand that. Again, this was initially one giant tiger habitat where they all went together. And then it was separated so all of the tigers could live more individually. So I haven't heard anything about they want to build a lion habitat somewhere else, and this is not permanent, or they want to make it bigger or anything like that. We haven't gotten any information about that at this point. However, it is still much more space than they ever seen before. And they will go here. And the plan was at this point in start of January that they all three would live here in Knuthenborg Safaripark for the rest of their life, all three of them together. I will just mention the one here, you can see the back is a little weird. Now, I can't fast forward or backwards here, but you can actually see the back have this depth to it. I believe that's V. And the last thing she states here, it's in the short here, but the last thing she states is that they seems to be falling to place nicely in Knuthenborg Safaripark. They relax. They all three of them, not only Ploy and Simba, who knew each other before, but also we have gotten this nice bond. They live like a very small pride without a male, but still a very small pride, and they interact together as natural lions would. They seem healthy, they eat, there have been some peace there. Knuthenborg Safaripark normally shuts down for the winter, so they had some time before any guests would arrive at all. What then happened is the sadder part, because as I just mentioned, we had that thing with the back. They didn't notice that, for what I am aware of, in Ukraine or in Poland. That didn't show before she came to Denmark. What's happened in Denmark is basically the fact that her back have that depth. They were aware of that, but when she jumps up and down of things, you can see it's not in this video. Sorry. I believe it's this one. You can see her trying to jump up and down at a point. This is not her. This is not her either, because this is normal lion nature. You can see in the back here, you can see her back have that dipping down there, and she have issues. Again, normal lion behavior here, not something to be scared of. But when she is up here, they have a lot of things to climb up, and she can climb up there without issues. But every time she had to jump down from things, it seems like it hurt her. It seems like she put all of her weight on her front legs when she jumped down. Again, this is Ploy and Simba. You can see their backs are completely different. So they stated already here in start January, they noticed this, they will investigate and let us know. So that's pretty much what they did. And that's what we see here. This is a video of Therese and Kim, which are animal vets. And then we have all of the keepers. You can see here we have a lot of people in the this is of course the indoor habitat. They put a lot of things here. We have a lot of things in motion because we need an x-ray of this bag to see what's going on. Again, trying to keep it as sensitized as possible. What she does here is the tranquilizer, but it isn't only tranquilizer, it will affect the memory of V. So not only did she fall asleep, but she will also... Yeah, did you hear that, guys? I'm not even sure you did. She's mad. She doesn't like this too much. But it will affect her memories a little bit. I just gonna pause it here. It will affect her memories a little bit, so she will have a harder time remembering this entire day. So she don't even remember the tranquilizer or the waking up part. She will just forget, which is a very humane way of doing so, and something I never heard about before. 10 minutes after Vee's been tranquilized, again, Therese here, Therese, it's she called, pokes her with the stick just to make sure it's already been 10 minutes, but just to make sure that she is fast asleep. And it's not to be mean, but you just need to be sure. She is still very dangerous if she isn't completely asleep. So Therese goes in here and again, make sure, and then they get started. They put cotton, not cotton swabs, but here you can see in the ears to make sure that she doesn't hear anything either. She won't wake up if she hears something, but she may, again, remember something about the hearing. They put salt water in the eyes to make sure they don't dry out. They give her plenty of air. And then they put her on this plank underneath. And then they have the X-ray camera on top. Again, you don't have the big machine you can just put her into. They also just check everything else, teeth, tongue, that there aren't any other issues. Again, she have been healthy. She have been eating and all of this behavior we are looking for. But here you can see the back. And again, she doesn't lay here on her own. She's been dropped here, put here, so that may affect how she lays a little bit. But you can see that the back here looks weird compared especially to the two other lions, and it kind of looks like a horse with saddleback. So in a minute they will move her again to get another X-ray photo, and you will be able to see real much what we talk about. As soon as they roll it, you can really see that, or roll her, you can really see that bent down, which is not natural for a lion to have. Again, they get all of the pictures they have from all of the angles possible, and then they drop her in here where she falls asleep, so she wakes up the exact same place. Roll her over so she she lays nicely, and then of course give her something to wake up. Here they just check of how fat she is. Does she feel like she lost weight or gained weight or anything like that? And again, just some extra tests and something to wake up on. Here you can actually see the X-ray. They talk about it here. We will see more pictures in the next video. Not my next, but the next. But here they are talking about what they can see currently, but it will be sent later to a specialist. I don't think they have a specialist in lion backs issues, but they probably have one that is specific in X-ray and maybe carnivores or cats or something like that. Here we see Ploy and Simba in the habitat outside. Again, you can see that it isn't Denmark. Again, we do not have these lush forests here, but this is pretty much what they live in now. You have seen some of them before, but I thought it may be something that you wanted to see more of. And again, trigger warning, the last video may be a little harsh. So here again, we have Therese Horde. And this was the next video uploaded on the lions, or more specifically Vee. And people like me have really been waiting for it. We have been seeing for a while that something was wrong with the back. But earlier they have stated it could be malnutrition. But since they had gained weight in Poland, and again, otherwise seemed healthy in Denmark, they really needed to see if it was something else. And this is the result. So she presented herself again, been working with the lions. And today I have, and that is important for me personally, she stated, I have. It's not like she states, oh, it was some other person taking this. It's not my responsibility. She's taking responsibility. She's admitting, I had to make this choice because it was the best choice for Vee. And she states that she's regrettably had to make the decision that they have to put Vee down. So when this video went up, I think it was Thursday, it had already been gone in the morning. They didn't wait for Vee to suffer another day. They didn't wait to put up a statement first. They didn't wait and let this lion suffer more. They just, as soon as they knew this was the direction we are taking, they did it right away, because Vee didn't have a healthy life. And I know, again, it's hard for some to hear, and honestly, I've been waiting days to make this video because I think it's a hard subject, and no matter what, it is never a good thing when you have to put down an animal, but it can be the best possible outcome. And she's been through so much. She's been through a war. She grew up in, again, a private home. We don't know how they took care of her there. We don't know about who her parents are. We don't know a lot of things about her, but she's been through so much. She was in a small cage in Ukraine, abandoned, starving, rescued by people that she didn't know. A lot of people was poking and prodding her to make sure she was healthy, that she didn't understand. Again, animals don't understand when we try to help them. Moved to Poland, another country, to fall in line there, get a home, feel safe for half a year, then pulled out of there to be moved to Denmark. And then again, they seemed happy here. They seemed healthy. They had been here since just before Christmas. And then they started noticing these issues. I will continue the movie, the clip here a little more, because I don't remember the exact things she stated, and I would like to translate them so you understand that this decision was not taken lightly, and I personally believe it was the best outcome from Vee, an outcome that should have happened much earlier. Here they say, as soon as they arrived to Denmark, they could see that she had some kind of misformations on her backbone. However, they didn't do the X-ray earlier. They did hope that it was just malnutrition, but they could see this, so they had to figure out what it was that influenced this. They can see that she had pain, a lot of it. Even though she have been introduced to the other two lions, Simba and Ploy, she haven't been able to keep up with them, which initially could be because she didn't know them. They were together, two females that know each other, and she came in out the sideline. It could have been that. This is not from the video, it's just me stating also why it took a little longer to figure this out. But now when they know each other better, they should move around in a pack, and she simply don't keep up with them, no matter if they climb, walk, or anything. She will be slower moving around in general. And also, again, lions, they fight a little bit, not aggressively in the pack here, but what we saw before in the other video. And here she explained the issues where she have issues, especially when she jumps down for things. And this, my opinion, we don't know if she ever had the opportunity in other places to have things to jump up on and down from. She don't have issues jumping up, but she did have issues jumping down because she put all of her weight on the front paws, the back wasn't able to take out some of the weight, so she will just drop on her front paws. And here she state that she was in tranquilized, and they took the X-ray, which were sent to a specialist, orthopedic in Danish. Not sure quite what this is. Either on Danish or English, but clearly they search for help, other people that know these things better than themselves. So really trying to not make a rash decision, they try to get help for her. what is the worst part here is specifically that these issues are not curable. They can't bend out her back. They cannot push anything in place. They cannot operate. So she would have to live with these pains, these move constrictions for the rest of her life. Here I will try to translate directly to make sure that you get the point. So this you can see on the X-ray. This way is towards the head. And that way is towards the butt. And in here you can see the lungs. The backbone, which we see here, will normally go straight. And here we can see that it makes this bend down. Again, not translating now, but this is also the bend that you could see on the earlier clips with her, especially while they took the X-ray, that it bent down is this unnatural way, and this is specifically why. Translating again, where what's it called? The small bone structures within the backbone get pressed together. And you can see these torns that stretches upwards. Actually should go the other way, like that way. First finger is the way they walk now, and now you can see the way they should actually walk. Which, again, is wrong. This entire wrong way of, like, the entire piece here of the backbone have been growing wrong. And that that causes that the animal both get troubles movement, like moving forward, but also like jumping down, and possibly also get pains that becomes worse and worse as the animal grows older. And here she clearly states that it is their responsibilities when they have an animal that is in this much pain and you cannot cure it. It's their responsibility to take the right conclusions, to make this happen and make this end in the best possible way. And because it is their responsibility and they want to do the best for Vee, they have already taken the choice, and we have already, at the point of recording of this video, they have already put her down. Because, again, as I stated earlier, she should not suffer anymore. She has suffered enough. She ends by reminding us that they have these beautiful ladies here, Simba and Ploy, which both came from the same zoo in Ukraine, that are healthy and happy. Now, I will just mention that one of them here has a scar here and here. Again, we don't know where it's from. It's not something anyone stated anywhere. It could be like fighting with its siblings as a child, or simply falling down for something, or it could be like war related. We will probably never know. I will also state that looking at their profile, they are really healthy animal. They are not fat, they are not too thin, and especially when you have been not eating well for a while. As a predator, you will have behaviors towards like having these kind of issues. Again, not me translating now, but just my knowledge about it. But they look so healthy and so amazing. And the last thing she says is that they will continue monitoring these beautiful ladies to make sure they don't have any issues in the future and give them a great and peaceful life here in Knuthenborg Safaripark. And I promise you, this is one of the first places I'm gonna visit as soon as I will be able to leave my house. I will just end in this video once again. Oh, that was part 1. Part 2 here again, where you can see them. I did shut out the sound here. Yes, I did. It's a minute and a half, just so you can see again the last footage we have of Vee moving around the area. Gorgeous. This is not Vee, however. But you can see these are some of the first pictures taken since they arrived to Denmark. And even though they are a little like on the back end, they need to look at things and such, but they seem healthy, especially Ploy and Simba we see here. They move around. And here again, we have down in the corner here, some of the last footage shot of her that I am aware of moving around. And as you can see here, she take part in the pride here. She's trying to do normal lion behavior, which again is remarkable if you ask me, thinking about what she's been through. So yeah, that's sadly where her story ends. But again, Ploy and Simba, again, we have here healthy lionesses that can live out their days here in peace and quiet. And if I get to see them, if I get to take some pictures, I will of course share them with you. I'm not sure if it's gonna be on this channel or my live channel or my Instagram, but I will make sure that you get a notice of where to find them if I manage to get my hands on some. I just thought this was a important story to tell, and it was also just moving over here. It was a very important story to tell, and it was really important for me personally to show that when war is going on, it is not only like two people fighting. We have all seen the pictures of people escaping their home, with some with their lives, some without their lives. And we have seen pictures of that all over. And that is not my story to tell, but I feel like this was a story that I could tell you about. I also have some other stories about other animals from Ukraine. More specifically dogs. So if you want to hear that story, I will be into making that video as well. However, keep in mind that this is not what I normally do. So I just hope this story will get out there, and I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, guys, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification so you know the next time I upload a video. I really hope to see you again, either in the comments below or in the next video. Bye, guys.